Bobcat Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Bobcat Sports Talk. Michael Davis here alongside Timothy Worrells. Man, it's been a long week, short week though. We had a lot of things scheduled. Not a lot got accomplished. We'll kind of dive into that here in a little bit, but first I want to give a little bit of shout out to our swim team. They competed in their first meet. They had a few records broken, a few school records broken. They had some athletes qualify for states. So big shout out to them as their season gets underway. Technically, I think their next meets don't start till January, but big shout out to them before we dive into the week. But dude, it's been a long week.
It's been yes, congratulations to the swim team. We'll talk a little bit about them here soon, but it's been a week. I'm exhausted, and we haven't done anything, literally anything. We'll also get into that tonight. But I like your background. I like the Christmas theme. We're in our homes tonight, so doing it from home.
much better than my satellite office that I was in last week with a filing cabinet and a white wall. So to me, Christmas is actually the best time of the year. So I'm actually in my dining room right now. We have several trees throughout the house. So this is the dining room backdrop. The other half of the dining room is decorated as well, but this is the better side, so I chose this side this time.
Yeah, that looks good. I need a little bit. We have a little bit of Christmas stuff here, but not like you guys. I got the good backdrop of a kitchen. That classifies me pretty well. I'm always.
I mean, it's a nice looking kitchen, and technically, we've been decorated since before Thanksgiving for Christmas. So
y'all don't do the Thanksgiving rule?
We do not. We host Thanksgiving, so we want our Christmas stuff up, and we host Christmas as well, so it'll be up as well for that. So it's all taken care of before Thanksgiving at our house. Yeah.
Interesting. Too early for me. Too early. I love Christmas, but
I do not play Christmas music though until we travel down for Thanksgiving. Then we'll play it. So it's got to wait till then.
I wait till Thanksgiving meal, and then we're done. Then it's Christmas time to me.
Then a shift.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when we put our tree up, at least when we come home in the evening, and then we do that.
Yeah.
But hey, Christmas is in a week and a half. Christmas tournaments are coming up.
Yeah.
For basketball.
We spoke about that last week. Best time of the year for basketball, Christmas tournaments. You guys are both playing. The boys and girls are still playing on the 17th, right? That hasn't changed, or has that changed? Or
well, right now the boys are pretty certain to play on the 17th. I'm not sure about us. Before we get into basketball, there, let's talk about that swim team. Let's talk about that swim team. State records already? School records?
Well, so if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, 3 school records were broken, and they already have athletes qualified for state tournaments or state swim meets. I think it's a relay and some individual swimmers they have for that. They have a lot of young talent on the team, a lot of returning talent as well, but they've had some transfers in that are pretty good. A lot of freshman talent that'll be moving up in the ranks over the next few years at Radford. So if I don't quote me, but we always talk about the boys basketball dominance. The swim dominance over the last couple of years has been elite. Best swim teams around. The boys have won 2 state titles, right? I believe. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of would expect that to continue. So yeah, swim team's doing great.
Sounds like it. I mean, just to break some school records, do we have any names? I know we were trying to get Coach Heather on this call, but just didn't work out this week. But maybe in the episodes that come. But any names?
Maybe
not.
No names offhand. I have a list. I apologize. I'm on my phone this week, so I don't have my laptop in front of me. So no name. We'll post those names out on those records, and we'll get those actual records posted out.
Sweet. Well, that's a little advertisement. But one thing we can talk about is a lot of people don't realize every other sport, it's pretty common for sports. They practice after school and then they go home in the evening. Swim starts at like 7 p.m. or whatever in the evening, gets on a bus when it's dark outside from the school, leaves the school, goes over to Christiansburg Aquatic Center, practices, gets back late. And when I mean late, when we played our first game on the road this year against Giles, we came back and we saw on our bus, it was like 9:30 at night. We saw on our bus and we're like, who in the heck's, who's that? Who else played tonight? It's a swim team coming back from practice. So they're dominant and also they're sacrificial, weird hours.
Well, they're using the aquatic center. Well, that's the same place Tech uses. So there's a lot of schedules to maneuver around. A lot of people use the aquatic center. So a lot of schedules have to be moved around to find lane time. And lane time it's hard to come by. You would think court time would be tough to get during basketball season, but to get lane time in the aquatic center is really tough.
Yeah,
so
for sure. And now that the Dedmon Center doesn't have any anymore, like the old days, no more pool or lanes, it's definitely difficult. So I'm exhausted as a coach when I come home at night, but I can't imagine what those coaches, Coach Rowland and her staff, are feeling coming home late, getting up next day to go back to work, and then go back to work again in the evening for swimming. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, it's a true sacrifice, not only for the coaching staff, but the young men and women athletes on the team. I mean, you have to love to do it. Tidbit, fun fact for you, Timmy, I actually swam in high school. I know if you looked at me now, you may not believe that, but I swam in high school.
Wow.
And so late practices down, early Saturday practices, actually before most basketball teams are practicing. So swimming's tough.
Did you do the butterfly stroke?
I did not, but I did swim a 500. I did swim a 500. That was my event. Yeah. So swim a 500 free. I figured out late in high school that if you weren't that talented, you could swim the freeze and the backstroke because it didn't take a whole lot of talent to take care of that. So, but yeah, swim a 500. So,
wow,
I
had no idea.
Qualified for states at one point, but
wow,
yeah, it's a long story.
Hey, speaking of states, we've been hearing a lot about Graham football all year. They got smoked in the state championship game against King William.
Yeah. What was that? Do you have the final score?
Is hold on one second. 48-21.
That's impressive.
It was 28-21 at halftime. It was only a touchdown difference at the half, but King William, dude, they were the real deal. I mean, Graham smoked Appomattox, and we knew how good Appomattox was, and so I thought Graham had it in the bag, but King William said, "No, thank you." They have a running back that's a commit to Wake Forest, and he had himself a heyday.
Wow. Well, shout out to them. That's impressive. If you had told me that before the final score, I would have laughed in your face. So that's awesome. Shout out to them.
I mean, you think about, we had a good team this year, and then how we stacked up against Appalachian and Appalachia. I kept saying that on the radio this year, Appomattox this year, and then how they took care of us, and then Graham took care of Appomattox, and then King William took care of Graham. I mean, I would have hated to play against King William today. They were good.
Yeah.
I watched it on NFHS. They were really good. So, anyways, football's over now. That's the sad thing. Officially.
It is. got some college level stuff still going on, but high school football's over. Friday Night Lights is over. Tough time of the year. It's just, high school football is, in my opinion, best time of the year.
I enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy it. I like basketball personally. If we get to play games.
Right. Often.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Possibly.
I mean, we could have had 6 games into this point. We've got 2.
Yeah. So I would love to dive into that a little bit. If you remember last week, we talked about how you're supposed to play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yep.
Christiansburg twice.
Yep.
And we were looking forward to saying, hey, how do we stack up here? Headed into Pulaski County on the 17th. Now, as we sit, still have only played 2 games. Don't technically know when the next time that you'll play. Tell us about it. What happened?
Well, COVID happened, and get the elephant out of the room. Yeah, COVID happened. And, we had, I don't know what I'm technically allowed to say or not. I don't want to get in trouble by the school board, but we had an athlete in our program, I'll say it that way, test positive on Monday, the day we're supposed to play Giles. And at the same time, some of my girls were not feeling well. And so Wednesday, a few of them got tested. We had some positives come back. And then the rest of the team had to get tested at the end of the week. And the end result is 10 out of 13 of our players tested negative, not positive, but negative. We had a really good negative rate this week. Praise the Lord. And none of the coaches got it. We were all negative. But we haven't stepped on a court in 7-8 days now, which is about to pull a little bit of hair that I have left out of my head.
Yeah. So, wow, 10 negatives, still no practice.
10 negatives, no practice. We start Monday, thankful. But we're gonna have a little bit of our team Monday, a little bit more of our team Tuesday, and hopefully more of our team as the weeks go on. But that's where we're at right now. So we're scheduled to play the 17th against Pulaski, but there's so many things up in the air. If I'm honest, I'm kind of thinking the Christmas tournament's going to be our return back to the court for games, at least.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, yeah. So I'm not the head coach, so I'll say this. 10 days. Let's go. Let's play. We're playing college basketball. I actually watched a lot of college basketball today. If we're looking at a football standpoint, Nick Saban tested positive, I believe, and was coaching that Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I do know. I have a lot of thoughts, but I want to respect all ears that are listening right now. But what can you do? And we don't want the whole team getting it. Thankfully, the majority, like most statistics out there right now, are most people are good in our program and they're safe. And the ones who have it are tired, but really you're thinking mild symptoms. I've been checking in on them. So just like last year, we were shut down for 2 weeks. And unfortunately, that was right before we played Floyd the second time. And then we went right into the playoffs. And so luckily we're at the beginning of the season. It really stinks, though. Really stinks, because I thought we were starting to get our legs into shape. At the end of the last week, we got in the weight room. We're going to be back. Love my girls, but we're going to be back to square zero when we step on the court again Monday with the few. Like I said, it's just portions. I don't have my full team yet. I don't know when I will, but I look forward to it.
Okay, so you won't even have the 10 that tested negative. They all can't come practice even. Okay, gotcha. I mean, that stinks. I'm happy. I'm very happy everyone is fine. That is actually the most important thing.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for normalcy a little bit.
Yeah, I hope no other team gets shut down or has to
Right.
go through this because it just kills momentum. But we knew coming into the season it's a possibility, just like last year. And like I said, I'm glad it's the beginning. I just hope it doesn't happen. It'll be really frustrating if we're doing this again in the middle of January or in February when we're trying to get the playoffs going. So hopefully we can get out of the way. Our first game of the Christmas tournament, if we play this, no matter what our first game back is, it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. And that's it. Even if we haven't been shut down, now we've been shut down. Don't know who all we're going to have when. If we play Pulaski next Friday, we could be stepping on the court with the state runner-up of 4A last year. That's going to make a run this year that returns everyone and has 2 all-staters in the starting lineup still. When we've been out off the court for 2 weeks, if we don't play Friday the 17th because we're low on numbers, we step on the court to a really tough, talented Tazewell team, which is kind of an odd opponent. But I was watching film on them this week in my spare time, and they're going to be tough. So no matter what, we're going to be challenged. And let's see where our lungs and our legs are pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a huge setback. I agree with you, though. Definitely better to get it out of the way now, hopefully, right? Than have to hit it a few more times this season. But I'm glad everyone's safe. But I'm ready for basketball. We were kind of joking last week about how this week coming up was going to be tough. It was going to be a lot of games, but when you text me the other day, it was like, "Hey, we're not going to play." I was kind of bummed, and then when I found out the whole week was canceled, I was definitely sad.
Yeah.
And now to hear that, who knows? We were talking that we were hoping boys and girls could maybe play on the same time, same place, and now it looks like you guys won't play to the Christmas tournament. So that kind of bummer.
Yeah, I feel a little guilty being kind of negative about the fact we're playing 4 games in 5 days this week, and then all of a sudden it would get shut down. And so now I wish I could reverse it back to last week and be excited about 4 games in 5 days with our team. But you just take it or leave it, and you move forward. And COVID's here, and it's still frustrating as all get out. And I know it is for everyone. I know our leaders and our administration, they're all frustrated as well because every case is different, circumstance is different, and I feel like every guideline and protocol is different every day. I don't know, but with that being said, we'll get on the court Monday with who we got, and we'll grow it as each of our players are released. Sounds like prison, but it's COVID, so we'll be glad to have them back.
Yeah, I mean, you're right though. And this may be just something that we may not know, but the boys had any trouble yet? No trouble so far, so that's positive for them. They're still able to run and practice, and like you said, Coach Cormany loves practice. So
they're on their 8th week of practice now.
Yeah.
With no games, and Coach Cormany wants more time.
Yeah, still not enough time.
But I think I was thinking about last week, and I'm shocked we didn't get any feedback. Figure a lot of people think I was being negative or doubtful of our boys, and I'm really anxious for their first game of the season. Pulaski beat Floyd pretty handily earlier this week, past week, whatever. This is Monday when we're airing this. That we're Saturday night right now recording it, but. Floyd's pretty good. They got a lot of shooters and a lot of athletes they had last year, which gave our boys some fits. And, Pulaski beat them handily this week. So I think this first game, Pulaski's already played a few games. They're going to be in game shape. I stand by my word. Boys are going to be really good, talented, going to go far in February and March. But the first few weeks of the season is going to be interesting, I think. They're young, and it'd be interesting. we got to have a leader. And right now, that's a question mark of to all of us fans.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of talk about leaders and things like that. By the way, shout out Miles Jones. Him and his new team and his dad came play Tennessee today. So a lot of talent has been lost the last few years, but shout out to them. It was awesome to see him on TV on ESPN and Plus and playing a team like that. I won't tell you what the final score was. Tennessee took care of business. I'll just say that. But it was awesome to see that. So a lot of talent has shifted over in the last few years there. So it will be interesting. Actually, speaking of college basketball, we've seen a lot in a lot of favorites on the road this year have went down early. I think these crowds are affecting things more than people would think. And so I'm curious to see if that bleeds into the high school game. I mean, we've had, school is back in session, but last year arguably was a different season, limited capacity. There were going to be so many people, basically parents. You can only get so rowdy with no student section. So I'm kind of curious to see when, the boys play Pulaski at home, or when the girls or the boys play Floyd at home or on the road, what those look like. We kind of saw it in volleyball a little bit, but basketball is a different animal, especially when you get into those rivalries here in the New River Valley. I'm curious to see how those actually affect the athletes on the court, to be honest with you.
Well, I think if we're honest, I think even before COVID, I've been a little disappointed in the fan base all over the place, if I'm honest. And I love Bobcat Nation, but I hate to be already talking like this back in my day. But back in my day, back even further, when you're talking about Darius Nichols days and Shane Nichols days, daggone it, the bleachers are full and the students were there from top to bottom, from the bottom to all the way up to the ceiling on their feet cheering. I've got a picture in my room right now of me dribbling the ball down the court against Cave Spring, a game that really didn't matter. And the student section's full. They're rowdy, they're loud. And, I just, the atmosphere hasn't been the same, and that's everywhere, not just Radford, everywhere. And so, Bobcat Nation, if you're listening right now, daggone it, get back in the bleachers and let's support our athletes. They deserve it.
You're absolutely right. Do you believe part of it's because, people are busy, or do you think it's, hey, especially when the boys are going to win, just assume they're going to win. Why do I need to show up? Let me know what the score was. You think that has something to do with it, or you think it's just,
It's a mix. I think, I think we're busy. I really think it's ticket sales. It's expensive to bring your family to a game.
Yeah.
VHSL just keeps bumping it up, and and if you're a family with 3 kids, 4 kids, that's $30 just to get into the door. And if your kids like me, when I was going to these games, I want a soda, I want some food, and I want some snacks. And so families are coming in dropping $50 or $60. And so, like, you're right, Michael, if the boys are scheduled to play someone, they're going to win by 50. Why am I going to go take my family to spend $50? And so I think prices are really hurting families. I think busyness, and I think, I feel guilty because that's part of what we do. The radio, you can listen for free to these games and follow along to the boys. And so I think there's a mix, but I miss the days where it was rowdy in those games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, another note on that, Coach Nichols is down at Radford University. You can go to Radford University game for the same price you can go to Radford High School game. Our family got season tickets this year. I even paid $15 a ticket. I'm going to go see Tennessee, Arizona in a week or two at Christmas time. It cost me $15 a ticket.
Yeah.
To watch 2 top 15 teams play each other in college basketball. But, so I actually agree with you 1,000%. I wish the VHSO would change that. The high schools have to stick to it, but the money that the high school makes really comes from the concessions. It really doesn't affect, the gate is really not theirs for the most part. So it's tough to see that. So I agree with you 1,000%. And especially if they're going to win, why bother? Why spend 30, 40, $50 when I can just, but hey, I agree with you. You can listen on Bobcat Sports Live.
Which goes back to the conversation we started last week. Now we got to be creative, and for us to get a packed gym more often, then we need to be strategic and place our boys and girls on the same night against big time opponents. So, so I get it. I'll take back my statement. Maybe that was a little stab at the fan base, but and it's not. I just really miss the days. I think everyone would agree with me. I miss the days where, the student section's in it. A lot of the student section, not just, 10 or 12 of them, but like 50 or 60 students are on their feet being loud the whole entire game, hackling the coaches and the players of the other team. And then the fans are in it as well. So Radford's got a good fan base. Just take a look at who travels down to Richmond. We filled that Siegel Center up. I just wish some of these home games and stuff and even close area games would just fill up as well. But it's pricey. So let's put the boys and the girls on the same night. Let's get it done.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. Let's try to steamroll that again. I don't know how we can actually get that done, but again, when I was in high school, that's the way it was. And I'm not saying we have to do that all the time, but a few times a year against big opponents, I'm all for that. And in fact, Radford University even had girls playing last week. They had the girls before the guys on an earlier tip-off. So it was actually nice. You could go to the girls' game for free and then hang out and watch the boys' game afterwards. So it was fantastic. Yeah. And actually, they're on the road tonight. They were playing at JMU. They were up big. I don't know what the final score was. I hate to say this, I believe Radford lost. They were up big on JMU, and then late in the second half, with about 10 minutes to go, JMU went on an 11-0 run and went ahead. I don't think they took it back. I don't know the final. So if they won, great. Shout out to Radford University, but we had to start doing this. So
they did not. They lost 79-70.
Yeah, they were actually up, I believe, 14 points at one point.
Gave up 50 points in the second half. Coach Darius Nichols is not pleased with that one.
Yeah, the Shield is their thing this year. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yep.
They're big on defense. I mean, it's Huggins down there. I mean, it's Coach Corney down there, and defense is king. And they've preached on that all year. They're shooting the three well. They're preaching the defense, and to give up that many points is tough.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy at all. So not at all. But anyways, but you're right. You can go to a Radford University game almost the same price as a Radford High School game. And, to give credit, so don't be calling Greg Wade up or any of our administration. That's totally out of our hands. That's what VHS
all the VHS.
Yeah. So
and they want their money.
Sure, everyone does.
They want their money.
But we want fans. So we need to find a way to get Bobcat Nation filling up those bleachers. Because daggone it, Radford's good. Radford's good at everything. Everything. And you go to a soccer game, we're gonna be good. You go to a swim meet, we're gonna be good. You go to a golf match, we're gonna be good. Football, basketball, baseball, softball, everyone, every time we roll on to the court or the field, we're gonna compete. And volleyball, tennis. I'm sure I've missed some sports, so I'm sure I'll get messaged later. But everyone, drama, forensics.
Yeah.
So it's awesome to be part of the city of Radford.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago we won 5 state championships in a year, I think, something like that, in a calendar year. So,
and if you take a look at when basketball wins state championships, you look at the schedule. Sometimes we beat in the season the state champion of a 3A or 4A school division. I remember 2013. or 15, whatever it was. They all run together now. Radford beat Cave Spring and Northside, and both of those schools won in their respective divisions that year.
If I'm not mistaken, that Northside game was at a neutral site in a tournament, and
when Q went off,
and we had to show up 5 hours before the boys were actually going to play to even get a seat.
Adam Ward Classic.
Yep, and they were turning people away. We sat there all day, basically, to watch that game, and it was must-see TV.
Matt McClung played Pulaski earlier that day, and I think that's what made it a little ridiculous. And then everyone, they always put Radford at the spotlight game, at Adam Ward everywhere. So I blame them?
No.
If any non-Bobcat fans listening to us right now, they hate us. By the way, we're talking right now.
That's okay. That's okay. This is Bobcat.
Did you catch the other night when we played Galax? Richie Davis did his normal he's our PA announcer. He did his normal. I just caught the tail end of it, but he's like, here, Radford, we only hang state banners. The Galax coach turned to him in the middle of the game and said, so do we. And I was like,
I did not catch that, but you're right. You walk into Radford High School gym, it is only state championship banners. There's no division winner. There's no playoff, nothing. You walk into other gyms, you may see state semifinal runner-up twice removed.
We wouldn't have room. We're out of room.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda made a championship banner. So yeah, I mean,
when your basketball coach throws the runner-up trophy in the trash can before he leaves, that's the culture we live in at Radford High School. True story, multiple times.
I believe.
Christmas tournament at Fort Chiswell, we came in second. He told us that trophy better not enter city limits because we
don't even want a picture with it. Don't take a picture with it, boys.
He's like, y'all don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Like, sure we do. We got in a championship game, and I learned quickly that that's not the mentality, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Well, it translates in life.
Yeah.
It translates in life. And that's the one thing about sports and we're excited to get our daughter involved in sports. She's already in gymnastics and stuff, but the one thing that I'm looking most forward to her being involved in sports is like the things you learn in sports are not just about sports. It is much greater and much broader and about life and true struggle. And I was watching, and this is going on today, Army Navy today. And it's so much bigger than a football game. Those men on the field are going to go sacrifice and represent their country. And they were saying that there's nothing that prepares you more for being in the military than playing college football. And I was just blown away because it is so much bigger than sports, but at the same time, we're playing a game to learn more about life. So sports are incredible. And I wouldn't want to do anything else than be a part of sports in general. So
I agree with all that. Well, hey, this week was a down week for Bobcat sports. So if you're listening, thanks for tuning in again and keeping up with our rants and our rabbit trails. But a couple of things we're going to work on for this podcast that hopefully we can enhance it. We'll have more guests on here, former players, monthly Bobcat player of the month. I just said that. Bobcat player of the month, and hopefully we'll have them on here as well. Won't always just be basketball. Everyone out there, don't worry. So yeah, we're excited for this. We're about to be launched on Spotify, Apple, Google, all the podcast areas that you like to. So if you don't want to look at our pretty faces here on the screen, you can just listen to us in the car through all those. And so, and if you have any suggestions or questions or anything you guys want us to talk about, we were talking before the podcast tonight, Michael, do we be professional and clean, or do we go back and forth? And I know you and I like to go back and forth, so hopefully our fans do too, because we'll probably do that in the future. We were pretty calm tonight about our quiet week because of outside circumstances. So maybe we can get a little spicy going forward.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I think it's great. Again, if you've made it this far, thanks. Please follow us. This will be every week from now on. It may look a little different, but you're right. This will be more than just us talking back and forth. But at the same time, that's kind of what it is. I mean, we want to talk about Bobcat sports. We want you guys to talk with us about Bobcat sports and Radford High School athletics, and that's what it's for. So thanks. We appreciate you guys. Yeah.
Well, any other tidbits or nuggets of wisdom or anything we need to talk about tonight?
No, I mean, I guess not. Once we went from playing every single day and every second to not playing at all, it's tough.
Yeah, I was excited to break down all of our games this week, and it's going to be really interesting. Knock on wood, once we can just freak my dog out, but once we can play all of our sports together. So,
yeah, I'm excited. By the way, we don't have animals for that reason. We have a fish, but that's about it.
Oh, well, we better get off so I can get my dog under control.
All right. Hey, guys, thanks so much. Again, this is Michael Davis, Timothy Worrells, Bobcat Sports Talk. We'll see you again next week.